Lanka was ruled by a king with magical powers. He had the ability to have 10 faces and 20 arms. People called him Dasmukh, the one with 10 faces. Dasmukh was very strong. He defeated his stepbrother Kuber in a battle and drove him away from his Himalayan kingdom. Dasmukh was now the master of Kuber's treasure. But what he loved most was the Pushpak Viman. So this is the famous Pushpak Viman, the flying machine I always wanted. But Kuber refused to give it to me, Dasmukh said. Your Majesty, you just have to give a command and the Pushpak Viman will take you wherever you want to go, said a minister. King Dasmukh got into the Pushpak Viman and commanded it to fly to Lanka. The flying machine took off. He was impressed with how fast the machine could fly. Suddenly, the Pushpak Viman slowed down. A mountain was blocking its way. Dasmukh was angry. Which mountain is blocking my path? He did not realize that it was Mount Kailash, Lord Shiva's home. Dasmukh gave a command. Fly higher and over this peak. But as soon as the Pushpak Viman flew higher, the mountain grew taller. Pushpak Viman went even higher, but the mountain still blocked its way. Dasmukh commanded Pushpak Viman to land. I'll simply throw the mountain aside, he said. As soon as the flying machine landed, Dasmukh jumped out. The Lord of Lanka now assumed his full form with 10 faces with 20 arms. Dasmukh used all his might to uproot the peak. Such was his strength that the mountain shook like a tree. High on Mount Kailash, Shiva's followers were frightened. Looks like Dasmukh is trying to uproot our home, said Goddess Parvati with a smile. Shiva nodded. Wait, I'll fix it firmly to the ground. Shiva pressed his toe into the ground. As soon as he did it, the mountain fell back to earth. To his shock, Dasmukh found his arms stuck under the entire mountain. He howled loudly in pain. He cried so loudly that he came to be known as Ravana, the one who cries loudly. Ravana realized that this was no ordinary mountain. He prayed to Lord Shiva for mercy. Mahadev, forgive my arrogance. I plead with you. Set me free. Shiva took pity on Ravana and stopped pressing his toe down. Ravana immediately withdrew his hands from under the mountain. He was now free as Shiva and Parvati appeared before him. Ravana said to Shiva, Mahadev, Goddess Parvati, you must be annoyed with my arrogance. Shiva smiled at Ravana. I am impressed with your immense strength, but I advise you to use it for good. Never use your might to harm others. Shiva and Parvati disappeared, and Dasmukh who was now called Ravana, continued his journey back to Lanka. And that's the story of how Ravana got his name.